Hello, hello.
Hello, hello.
Hello, everyone.
Hello.
Hello, hello, hello. Welcome back to the STEPN and STEPNGO Townhall. It's been a little while since the last one. That also means we've got quite a lot to cover today. So without further ado, welcome Yon, welcome Gil. Great to have you both here. Yon, how have been things going on your side these past few weeks?
Oh, I'm actually busy watching Trump go back and forth on himself.
Interesting. And Gil, how about you? How have the last couple of months felt on your side?
Great. Yon beat me to it, but I've been actually. I wanted to mention the news, but yeah. Um. Can you hear me?
Yes, yes, we
Yes,
can
yes.
hear you.
Yeah. I'm sorry. So yeah, last couple of months have been hectic. And it feels like it's been forever since we've had our last town hall. So I'm more than ready to go and share announcements and answer questions for the community.
Gotcha. Thanks, Gil. So that's actually a good place to start. Before we move into the new announcements, you probably saw the last one from a few minutes ago. Let's take some time to look back at everything that happened the last 2 months. We've had the Panda event, the Stepanathon at the end of the marathon season one. We had Cupid GG boxes, legendary releases, and also probably one of my personal favorites, the first connoisseur badges reaching the longtime community members, including me. So that's great to see as well. Let's kick off with the Panda events. So just a quick recap. During the events, you guys were able to enhance and get Panda skins, collect the members of the Panda family, and the most dedicated participants could qualify for the legendary Panda Godfather airdrop. So originally, we designed the event to be simple, effective, just like how the Panda events have always been. But we also wanted to add a special twist with the legendary Panda Godfather sneaker. So I think we should also address the issue we encountered during the raffle mints. So, Gil, can you give us a quick recap of what happened? You're muted, Gil. Gil?
Still
Okay.
muted.
Yeah. Sorry.
Yes.
Wow.
Sorry.
No
Um.
problems. Go ahead.
My nerves. All right. Okay. But yeah, I wanted to highlight how the yearly panda event is already part of our culture now, right? And this year we tried to add a little more to the event. So we decided to make it work on a few different levels. So you can participate via enhancing, via collecting the skins, and then a higher tier reward would be available depending on what you completed. So players who completed the whole family, they have their own raffle, and we concluded the raffle. Well, we tried our best to give everyone a shot at getting a legendary panda sneaker. So as a quick recap, our panda event had two steps, right? You enhance until you get all four skins. So I think everyone's familiar with the family, the mom, the dad, the son, and the daughter, and you might win one of three legendary Godfather panda sneakers. So that's an exclusive giveaway if you collected everything, right? But also, even if you enhance just once, you get three bonuses: the panda badge, the panda background, and the chance to enter a raffle mint that now has five legendary Godfather Panda sneakers. However, when we put out the event's announcement, we acknowledged there was no ticket price regarding the raffle. And this omission, in turn, has caused a lot of misunderstanding. And we'd like to take this opportunity. I would like to take this opportunity to apologize to the entire community for what had happened. So yeah.
Yeah, thank you, Gillen. I agree. It was a mistake on our end. And that's why we decided to make things right by providing a 50% refund for the winning raffle tickets to show our commitment and to show that we listen to the community. Just a little side note, the person that won the raffle should receive their refund pretty soon, within today or tomorrow. This helps. This refund helps make the participation more accessible and still retain the value of the legendary sneakers in the markets. So that's the solution we came down to. Do you want to add anything to that, Sean?
Yes, I recently have also received a handful of feedbacks from player, either saying that the ticket price is too high, or some even suggesting that ticket should be free. And also, I've been having feedback on other matters. I think the original price, I want to reiterate, was set based on the marketplace when we're researching, the price where we should set it. But after taking the feedback into consideration, hence we all lower the price through this refund mechanism. And also we are in discussion of several improvement for the future, and also what we can do for the legendary auction buyers in the past.
Right. Thanks, Sean. I hope that helped clear up the things that were a bit unclear for everyone listening. So now that's out of the way, let's just move to the marathon side. So the last 2 months were also important there, because we had the end of marathon season 1, STEPN as the final challenge, and a lot of people pushed themselves, which is amazing to see. So Gil, can you walk us through what stood out from that period?
Yeah. So season 1 closing out was an important milestone. There was a lot of participation through the marathon challenge overall, and STEPNathon gave the season a real finish line. For the final challenge, you had to do the 21 kilometers or the 42 kilometers in a single session, and it turned the whole season into something more meaningful than just checking in. You actually had to push yourself, so it felt like a proper conclusion to a marathon, right? So it's a conclusion to the consistency people had shown over multiple weeks.
Yeah, and it ended with a challenge, like you said, that people had to prepare for, and many participants pushed themselves to reach the distance targets. I just want to share a quick number here, but in a week, over 1,500 of you completed the STEPN challenge by running either the 21 or the 42 kilometers on STEPN or GO. So it's actually really, really good participation for such a difficult event. So again, congrats to you guys, and let's see how we conclude season 2. Dion, from your perspective, is there any learnings that you get from season 1 that you would like to share?
I think yes. So what we learned is the consistency really works, and also the social motivation also works as well. So people do better when there's structure, in this case marathon, and when they also do better when they feel they are part of something bigger. So which is also the why that we decided to implement team concept for season 2.
Exactly, and we'll actually come back to that a bit later in the Townhall. Before we move to the next main topic and start looking forward to the future, there's one thing that's worth highlighting. At the start of the year, we said we would begin the Genesis buyback and burn, and that's actually what we've been doing for the last few months. Dion, can you give us an update on where things stand, please?
So yes, so like we promised, we starting the buyback early of this year, directly purchased from the marketplace. So since starting of 2026, we bought back about 28 Genesis sneakers across 3 different channels. So we have burned them and put the TX on white paper, I think just a couple of minutes ago, so people can go check it out. And also we'll continue to purchase and then periodically to update the white paper.
Thanks for clarifying, Ian. I just want to specify that it's under the governance and ecosystem fund section, if you're looking for it. I spent quite a bit of time looking for that as well myself. So if you want to have a look, go for it. We'll also share a post later in the week to clarify things a bit further. So yeah, it's important to follow up on these things and do it with transparency, to show that we actually execute them. And that's another important piece of progress from the start of the year. And it also connects well with what we want to talk about next, the legendary sneakers that have been the center of attention for the first quarter on STEPN. So we've had several important legendary moments, from the final Genesis airdrop to like the BNB chain auction, and also the Cupid's GG boxes that added a seasonal twist to legendary distribution. Gil, can you walk us through what stood out across those releases quickly, please?
Yep. So first we had the first Genesis. We had the final Genesis Legendary airdrop, which marked the closing chapter of the initial distribution phase. That was important because it reinforced the idea that legendary rewards are meant for active participants, not just passive holders, right? Then we also had the dedicated BNB chain legendary auction, which continued the phased rollout across different realms. Because we're doing a regulated release. We're not just placing all legendaries in Solana in one realm, and we're trying to give more players access. We also did the Valentine's legendary GG boxes, where we added a little twist to the legendary distribution because you had to open GG boxes to get your legendary. And that event combined multiple participation mechanics because not only did you have to open your GG boxes, you had to spend energy, you had to be holding a Genesis. So again, we tried to give players the chance to receive legendary rewards via different methods. So yeah.
Yeah, correct. And we didn't rely on one format, and that's what's important. Jan, how do you see that approach so far?
Yeah, so this is exactly how we want this to be designed. So we want to release the legendary slowly and also in controlled phase. So this give us the time to observe and also keep the rarity meaningful and prepare the in-app mechanism properly.
Right. And speaking of in-app legendary mechanics, I think it sets up very well for what we want to talk about next, because one of the biggest changes yet for legendary has arrived an hour ago. You can now get legendary sneakers from enhancing in STEPN. Jon, can you start by explaining what this launch represents?
Yeah, so legendary will always mean to be a huge part of this app mechanism. Before, legendary was only released in batches like auction, raffle. Now it start entering the system through the enhancement from Epic, so which is actually a important step. So we will still gradually open this, and the first step now is live.
Yes, and for the first phase, access starts with Genesis holders only. Gil, can you walk everyone through the mechanics, please?
Yep. So to perform a legendary enhancement, it's kind of like any sort of enhancement. You get 5 sneakers. 4 of them are they've got to be all epic, so you get the legendary, and you have to have one Genesis in there. So when those 5 are enhanced together, of course you get your legendary sneaker. And I think I need to mention here that please do not do an enhancement that has two uh, Genesis numbers, because by the rule of lowest sneaker ID, you're going to lose one of them. So at least make sure that you have one Genesis in the enhancement, and please turn off the rainbow toggle. Otherwise, if you get a rainbow, well, you have a rainbow, but you lose your Genesis, right? So please take note of that. So yeah, your Genesis can now be upgraded to a legendary, which is the exact thing I'm gonna do after this. So yeah.
Thanks, Gil. And I just want to clarify, actually, that's specified in the white paper, but you actually cannot get a rainbow from rare and epic enhancements, so only from common and uncommon enhancements at the moment. Um, so the key points, like Gil said, you get your own legendary Genesis. I know a lot of you, and I'm myself included, I've been running with your Genesis for a while now. It's epic maxed out. So now you can just enhance it to be even better and legendary. Jon, why did you decide to open this feature with Genesis holders first?
Yes, this is the first step, as I said. So we want to expand the accessibility carefully. So Genesis always be the best part to start with. And Genesis holder have always been the core, I think, part of this ecosystem. So they are leading this first phase of the legendary enhancement.
And just to make it clear for everyone listening, it's not the final form of legendary access. After the airdrop and auctions, this is just the second stage of the wider rollout. Correct?
Yes. So we'll expand over time, not at once. So we want to observe and then we execute.
Makes sense. And for the players that want a full breakdown of the mechanics, the requirements, the details, Jon spent a bit of time this morning updating the white paper. We've got the announcement that's been to the space as well. So you have all the information you need. Now, staying on the topic of things that are returning in one form or another, we want to tease something today. Some of you know that when things start getting a bit too quiet, it usually means that there is trouble on the way. And let's just say there may be some familiar chaos returning soon. Jon, do you want to say a few words without saying too much about that?
Okay. So a previous collaboration may return, and all I can say is will be playful, very chaotic, and it will take to the community participation again.
That's indeed a very young coded teasing. But all right, I'll pull it up. What we can say today is that the rabbits are coming back to STEPN. We are not ready to share the full format just yet. We'll save the proper announcement for later, but we want to acknowledge it here first for the people listening. So if you were listening carefully, more chaos is coming. Genesis are involved as well, and GG boxes will be a part of it. That's all we are giving you today. Jon, any last word on that one?
Yes, people be prepared for chaos.
Fair enough. Let's leave it there before we say too much. And let's move to the major topic for today, the last major topic for today. This is one I know a lot of people have been waiting for, and you've seen it on our socials already. The Marathon Challenge is coming back with season 2. The core idea stays the same and very simple. Move at least 2 energy every day, stay consistent, and make it to the finish line. But this season comes with a major upgrade. We mentioned it earlier. You're not doing it alone this time. Teams are part of the Marathon Challenge. So, Gil, can you run us through the basics first, please?
Yeah. So of course, registration opened on March 16, and you can lock your entry into the marathon by locking 50 USDC at the usual marathon website, marathon.fsl.com. Round one will run from March 30 to April 13. It's not active yet. The core participation rule is the same. Use 2 energy every day, or so you can stay alive in the challenge, or you're gonna lose, and you lose your 50 USD. So the consistency aspect is still very much at the core of season 2.
Yes, and the big change comes now. Teams, Jon, why bring teams into season 2?
Yes, because it makes the marathon more social. So season 1 shows that people naturally group together and encourage each other and compare progresses. So now we formalize that process.
And Gil, how do the team actually work?
Yeah. So players can create their own team or join another team that's created by somebody else. Team captains can create private teams and share a code to control who joins. And they can also remove team members as needed. Each player can only be in one team at a time. If you don't like your team, you gotta leave that team and find some other team. And most importantly, team success or failure will not affect your own individual success or failure. It also does not affect your individual earning. So the team feature adds competition and social structure, but it does not override your individual reward logic. So
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, that's very important to keep in mind. You can compete together with your friends or people from your Discord or Twitter, but your own reward still depend on your own participation and are not tied to the team's success. So there are also leaderboards this time as well, right, Gil?
Yeah. So there will be a team energy leaderboard, which ranks teams. So it's team versus team based on their total energy spent during the round. But there's also an individual energy listing inside the team, so members can see who is contributing the most amount of energy. So there's now a collective competition between the teams and potentially between team members inside the team.
And it's exactly the kind of things that are going to create great stories of people coming together to win the leaderboard, and probably some arguments too. So let's talk about the season pass now, because that's back as well and even better this time. Can you share the details again?
Definitely. I've received a lot of questions about the season pass. So, right now, it will be returning at the same price of 20 USDC, but it includes new perks, including the STEPNOG premium membership, which will be valid from the moment you subscribe until the end of season two. The membership will, if you guys are familiar with how the perks work in STEPN, you are able to keep your gems. There's a chance that you can keep your gems after upgrading, and a chance to keep a scroll after trying to mint. But also, you get one soulbound STEPN common sneaker just by having the season pass. And on top of that, the pass still includes all the kinds of rewards you guys are familiar with the rewards tab in Marathon. So that still includes the marathon boxes, extra drops, exclusive items, the backgrounds, and additional surprises. Uh, but but also, because I received this question, I just want to put this in. You cannot just purchase the season pass and expect to get all these perks. Like you want the VIP, you just get the season pass and expect to get it, right? You actually need to be in the marathon. You need to participate in at least one round of the marathon. It doesn't matter if you pass or fail. Okay, just you have to be in the marathon and participate, and then you'll get all the goodies that we have mentioned with the season pass.
Yes, thanks for adding the clarification, Gil. I was just about to do it. So perfect. So just to summarize, round one starts next Monday on the 30th of March, which is also the deadline to register, by the way. The daily consistency rule stays. You still have 3 pools to enter. Teams are now live and leaderboards are in. And the season pass is back with extra value while keeping the same price. Jon, what are you the most interested in seeing once the season 2 starts?
Yes, so I want to actually observe the team behavior. So see how people organize and who lead and who follow, and whether the team will improve consistently.
Yeah, same. I'm honestly very curious to look at the leaderboard and see who's going to lead that, and if there's going to be a lot of turnover within each round. So let's see, because once you introduce the teams, you're no longer only measuring commitment, but also accountability to the rest of the team, and that changes the feel of the event a lot. Because if you miss a day, it's not just your problem; it's your team problem. It's visible to everybody, so you have to be organized, and you can start building your team from now if you're already registered. Otherwise, you can start once the round 2 starts, and get organized and get ready for the season 2, which is almost there. All right. Before we move on to community questions, I want to take a moment to talk about the community events. Because over the last 2 months, we've continued to see strong IRL activity, especially in Japan, thanks to MetaX, who leads the STEPN Boost activations. And the momentum is continuing as well. So we have more events coming up, 2 in this case. Sorry for the pronunciation, the Algarve blockchain ABC 2-year celebration on March 27th with Luro, and then the STEPN Boost Fukui on March 29th by MetaX. Those community events, they continue to be a big part of how STEPN shows up in the real world, and it's great to see this energy staying strong and seeing those photos on Twitter and Discord. All right, let's move into the community questions now. Gil, can you take us through them?
Right. So let's start with, I think, the one everyone's asking about. Since the promise was made to focus on STEPN again, what is the single decisive action in 2026 that will prove STEPN is not simply being maintained, but is being rebuilt with real conviction?
Okay, so we don't have one single action, and we are working on several updates at the same time, both for step and go. I don't want to see release information prematurely, but we are hoping to get them released relatively soon. And also, I'm also in the process of looking at what we can do on the social level as well. And also, we'll have some information on that lately as well.
Got it. Okay. Next question. The Panda raffle mint was paid for at 100,000 GMT. Why wasn't that clear in the announcement?
Okay, so I think it
Uh,
make more sense.
I can take this
Okay.
one, Jan, if that's fine.
Okay, sure.
Yeah, because that's honestly my responsibility. So I want to apologize again to everybody listening. It's it's a mistake on our end. For a bit of background, the announcements they go through several rounds of review before they are released, and in this case, we just didn't notice the lack of price in the first announcement. I think we thought that it was implied by using the word rafflement, which is our mistake, like I said. So we fully recognize that it was a shortcoming at our end, and we'll make sure to improve the review process and that it doesn't happen again. Thanks for the tough
Yeah.
questions, Gil.
Yeah. I mean, like, full transparency, I am part of the reviewing team for announcements. I also take responsibility for this. It's something we missed.
Yeah, and I approve it. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
All right.
I'm
All right.
guys. So yeah.
That-
Okay. Next question. Okay. When will Charm be ready to use? A lot of people are asking this.
Yes, I also have the same question. So internally, we actually have changed the design several times, which is the reason that we have to shift the timeline a bit as the mechanism basically evolved. We all want the timely delivery of this update. So basically, we are now, Gil know that we actually now finalize this. So our priorities will always be deliver the feature that are usable, enjoyable, and also have a positive impact, plus making economical sense. So it's actually many balls to juggle in this sense. So yeah, we actually took sort of a step back and redesigned several things.
Yep. Are there plans? This is the it seems to be the final question for the list. So, final question: are there plans to integrate AI for personalized training, rewards optimization, gameplay experience, etc. in STEPN or STEPNGO?
Actually, it actually is interesting question because we actually will talk about this internally about AI in sort of implementation, but for what we see, like open cloud AI agent, the AI has been developing too quickly, and sometimes I feel that if we implement something prematurely, they probably going to be better things come out, right? It's like people are building AI assistant tools, and the open cloud came out. Basically, what they build become obsolete. So we will actually want to wait for a while when, let's say, the things settle down a little bit, and we can actually pick what is useful and then implement to the AI.
Okay.
right.
Yeah, that's
Sorry, Gil. Go ahead.
yeah, that's all for me.
Cool. Well, I've got to say you picked some tough questions today, but that's everything we wanted to cover for this town hall. So thank you to everyone who joined in, listened to us, and who's keeping the support up for what we are building. Of course, thank you, Jon and Gil, for joining today. Any final words before we wrap up?
Yes, keep moving, and we'll deliver what we promise.
All right. Thank you, everyone. The STEPNGO sneaker winner will be announced right after the Townhall ends, and keep an eye on the announcements. Get ready for Marathon Season 2, build your team, and we'll talk again soon. Take care, and see you in the next one.
So guys,
Bye. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Take care. Bye.
bye.